They called her a nobody, a poor girl with dirt under her nails, and a mother fighting for her life. But when Amara stopped to help a trembling old woman on a dusty road, she had no idea she was stepping into a trap. A trap designed to expose her darkest secrets or change her life forever. Why did a mysterious millionaire leave the city to find her? And what was hidden inside the heavy clay pot that almost broke her back? Stay tuned, because the truth behind Mama Ngozi will leave you speechless. In the emerald heart of a quiet Nigerian village, where the red dust of the earth clings to the skin like a second memory, lived Amara. At 24, her beauty was not found in expensive trinkets or fine lace, but in the steady strength of her gaze. Life had not been kind to her. 9 years ago, the sudden death of her father had turned their world upside down, leaving her mother, Chioma, a shadow of her former self, bedridden by a mysterious, lingering ailment. Amara was the village's silent engine. From the first crow of the rooster, she was in the fields, her machete rhythmically striking the earth. By noon, she was scrubbing heaps of laundry for the wealthy families on the hill, her hands pruned and raw. By dusk, she scoured the bushes for firewood to sell. Every kobo earned was a battle won for her mother's breath. Meals were often nothing more than a few spoonfuls of watery Garri, yet Amara's spirit remained unyielding. She believed that the universe kept a ledger of kindness, even if the ink seemed dry. One evening, the heat was particularly suffocating. The sky was a bruised purple, and Amara's body screamed for rest. As she trudged home, she saw her, an old woman bent nearly double, struggling with a massive clay pot of water. The woman's legs trembled like dry leaves in a harmattan wind. Several villagers passed by, young men laughing about the weekend's football match, and women gossiping about the latest city fashions. They saw the old woman, but they chose to see through her. Amara didn't hesitate. "Mama, please," she said, her voice a soft melody in the humid air. "Let me take that burden."
The old woman looked up, her eyes milky with age and exhaustion. "My daughter, you look like you have already carried the world today. This pot is heavy with more than just water." "A burden shared is half carried, Mama," Amara replied with a tired but genuine smile. She hoisted the heavy vessel onto her own head. Each step felt like a mile. Her spine throbbed and sweat stung her eyes, but she walked with the woman for nearly an hour, deep into a part of the bush she rarely frequented. When they reached a modest, clean compound, Amara lowered the pot with a sigh of relief. She refused the woman's offer of a seat, eager to get back to her mother. Before she left, the woman, who called herself Mama Ngozi, pressed a small leaf-wrapped bundle into Amara's palm. "For your mother's medicine," she whispered. Inside was enough money to buy the specialized drugs that had been out of reach for years. The next day, the miracle began. The medicine worked. Chilma's fever broke, and for the first time in months, she sat up. Overjoyed, Amara returned to the bush to thank Mama Ngozi. But when she reached the clearing, her blood ran cold. There was no compound, no house, no water pot, just an empty field of tall grass swaying in the wind. It was as if the woman had been a ghost. 2 weeks later, the mystery deepened. A fleet of black SUVs, the kind usually reserved for governors, rolled into the village, kicking up clouds of red dust. They stopped at the village church. Out stepped a man who looked like he belonged on a billboard. Chidi, a tech mogul from Lagos. Beside him, dressed in Royal George fabric and shimmering gold, was Mama Ngozi. The village gathered in a hushed, confused circle. Mrs. Ekwime, the real Mama Ngozi, stepped forward and pointed her mahogany staff directly at Amara. "There she is," she announced, "the only soul in this village who didn't let a beggar suffer in the sun." The revelation was a whirlwind. Chidi had been looking for a partner who understood the value of a human soul over a bank statement. He began visiting Amara, not with the arrogance of a rich man, but with the humility of a suitor. He brought crates of fruit for Chioma and sat on their low wooden stools, listening to Amara's dreams. However, the shadows of jealousy soon rose. Chidi's uncle, the formidable Chief Obi, was outraged. At a formal family dinner, he looked at Amara's simple dress and scoffed.
A common farm girl? You bring a scavenger into a dynasty? She probably used a spell to blind you, Chidi.
He then turned
Tell
to
us,
Amara
girl,
and snarled,
what is the
"Tell
price
us,
of your
girl,
exit?
What is the price
We know
of
you
your
only
exit?
want the gold."
We know you only want the gold. Chidi stood up, his voice like rolling thunder. Uncle, you see a farm girl, but I see the foundation of this family's future.
Gold can be stolen.
Gold can be stolen.
But the kindness Amara showed my mother when she had nothing is a treasure you can never understand. If you insult my future wife, you insult me.
You can never understand. If you insult my future wife, you insult me. Amara and Chidi were married as the rains began to fall, a sign of blessing. But Amara didn't just move to the city. She transformed her village. She built a school and a clinic, teaching every girl that their worth wasn't in their beauty or their poverty, but in the strength of their hands and the purity of their hearts. The moral of the story: true wealth is not measured by the balance in your bank account, but by the weight of the burdens you are willing to lift for others when no one is watching. Kindness is a seed. You may plant it in the dirt of exhaustion, but it will eventually grow into a forest of grace.